The airport terminal buzzed with the usual chaos. Boarding calls, rolling suitcases, overlapping conversations. But for Elaine, everything was a blur. Nothing felt normal. Nothing would ever be again. She stood quietly at the check-in counter, clutching crumpled military papers stamped in red ink. Her black dress hung loosely on her thin frame, and her eyes were bloodshot from too many sleepless nights. She didn't cry, not because she wasn't hurting, but because the tears had run dry days ago. Her only son, Matthew, just 24, a young black soldier with a bright smile, had died overseas. And now, all she wanted was to bring him home, to sit beside his coffin, to keep the last promise she made before he left. No matter what happens, I'll be there to bring you home. Elaine stepped forward and handed over the papers. I'm here to escort my son's body. His name is Matthew Hines. The military issued me these documents. The airline staff, a middle-aged white man named Richard, barely glanced at the papers before scoffing. You're not on the list. We only allow authorized personnel, not random civilians. Who even are you to think you get to ride with a coffin? Elaine kept her voice calm. I'm his mother. These are official documents. The military gave me escort rights. Richard took the paper again, smirked, and tossed it back across the counter. This isn't valid here, and even if it were, policy doesn't allow family members to just hop on with the deceased. You think rules don't apply to you? Elaine clenched her fists but spoke with dignity. My son died for this country. He served with honor. All I ask is to sit beside him on his final journey home. Richard rolled his eyes and laughed, turning to a coworker nearby. Another sob story. They all think their sons are heroes. Let me guess, you want special treatment because you're black? That sentence hit like a slap. Nearby passengers began to notice. Some averted their eyes. Others stared at Elaine like she was making a scene. She took a shaky breath. You don't know what I gave up to raise him. I worked 3 jobs to pay for his military school. I held his hand when kids bullied him for his skin color. I prayed for him every night. And now, all I want... He cut her off coldly. You're not a general's wife. You're not connected. There's no big-name officer vouching for you. Nobody's coming to rescue you, lady. You're just a poor black mom with a stack of paper that means nothing here. Elaine stood frozen. She had no allies, no favors owed, no commanding officer calling in support. All she had was love and a fierce will to keep her word. She took a step closer to the counter, looked him straight in the eyes, and whispered, You don't need to understand, but I'll tell you this. If that plane leaves without me, I will sit right here on this floor with my son's photo in my arms, and I will not move. I'll speak to the press. I'll speak to every passenger. I'll make sure your airline is remembered, not for efficiency, but for cruelty. Richard chuckled, loud and smug. The press? No one cares about people like you. You're just background noise. Then something shifted. A woman behind Elaine raised her voice. Stop treating her like garbage. She has every right to be with her son. A man added, This is racial profiling, and we're all witnessing it. Phones were raised, cameras recording. A local journalist in line started whispering urgently into his phone. I've got a live story. This could blow up. Richard paled. A manager rushed over, made a frantic call to military liaison services. Minutes later, the airline backed down. The escort was approved. Elaine said nothing. She simply placed her hand gently on the coffin that had just been wheeled out, her voice barely audible. Mom's here, Matthew. I kept my promise. As the plane took off, she sat beside the casket, eyes closed, silent tears falling. Not a single passenger dared speak loudly. Everyone respected her space. Elaine had no power, no connections, no commanding officer behind her. She was just a mother, a black mother, with a heart strong enough to make the world listen. Closing message. You don't need power to be heard. You need courage. Elaine didn't have an army behind her, only the love of a mother. But that love was louder than policies, stronger than racism, braver than silence. If you believe courage and love still matter, share this story. And if you're fighting a battle no one sees, remember, you are stronger than they think.